Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages. My name is Evil Dragon XXL, and welcome to a very sunny Donington Park, here for what is possibly one of the most famous British circuits, apart from Silverstone and Brooklands. Joining me in this beautiful, nice, sunny commentary box overlooking Turn 1 is my partner in crime. It is Mr. Mulderman. How are you, my friend?
Oh, very good. Looking forward to round 2 in the sunshine of Donington here, and looking forward to a race that even some PC drivers would enjoy. How are Cryptic and CJ? I hope you're enjoying the stream tonight.
Indeed, a long race. 11 minutes to qualify. A circuit that is got a very big prestige, doesn't it, in endurance racing, and well, as F1 as well. The old Group C used to race around here in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken, and more recently, of course, there's a lot of action have been taking place around here, apart from maybe a couple of GT races now and then.
Yeah, it's mainly home to like touring cars now and World Superbikes, things like that. Donington went for a bit of a downer when they failed to get the Grand Prix, and has sort of been rejuvenating the track ever since. But a classic track, a driver's circuit, maybe a bit like Imola with the overtaking. It's not so easy, and the penalties been an issue, and hopefully we don't see the repeat of what we saw last week, when it was basically won on penalties in the end.
Yeah, nothing you like to see races being run on penalties. That happened quite recently, but let's not get into that debate. Meanwhile, new team car, by the way. We've got Scold and Vector. They are driving in the Honda. I refuse to call it an Acura because it's a Honda. Just to point that out. We also have Coolfire, COU, a Cool Vip. I got told I'd do that in this race, in the Ferrari. He's left McLaren, he left Red Bull, now he's driving the Ferrari. So, we'll see what the Ferrari can do. First time we'll ever see a Ferrari in the elite tier for 3 seasons. And I'm expecting possibly good things to come out of it. We'll find out.
Well, yeah, we got Papano in the Ferrari as well. He raced last week, but his name's Sean. Basically, I've managed to get him into the league. He was very interested. It's a bit of a dream come true for him to be in Tier 1. He's certainly got the pace, having tested and raced with him. So I expect him to be a bit of a dark horse for this race even. Ferrari seems very quick around this track.
Yeah, the pace always there. The Ferrari, very good on these technical sections. It's going to be interesting. Right now, we are expecting Mercedes here to be doing pretty decently. Even currently P2 right now, 8/10 off of EPR low. So again, EPR, that'd be Archil if I'm not mistaken, in the BMW. And there he is. The man of the season so far. He is, well, he got pole last time out before disconnecting. Now, I'm not going to curse him, but he could be on course for a pole position. And if he doesn't disconnect today, which I hope he doesn't, he could possibly try and run away with it. He's 8/10 ahead. Now, Ethan last time out was the closest rival, only 3/10. He'll be hoping today to be a lot more closer to that BMW up the road and challenge him on track. Ethan wants to race this time. He doesn't want to get penalties and mistakes like what happened just 7 days ago, of course, in Imola, where he got a few penalties and that really cost him his race.
Yeah, it was really unlucky for Archil last week, but it's good for us this week because it means he has to go for it, and that time of 26.1 is an extremely fast time. I can tell you that from practice yesterday, which I took part in. And yeah, Archil, I thought he was hiding some pace. He was been pretty quiet in the week, and yeah, he's looking like already he's back into the groove. Ethan, very quick yesterday, race pace especially, so maybe the Mercedes will come good as Gaz goes second and Jan third.
Indeed, let's go on a board lap with someone actually. If we can spot someone coming through the last couple of corners, we'll have an on board. So we'll go on board of Rosberg right now to see what he's up to. So he's just coming down Hollywood Bend. This is now down towards the old hairpin. Now it's called the old hairpin. The old circuit used to go off down here, if I'm not too mistaken. So past that they come down to Starkey Bridge. That's the bridge on the left. That was demolished back way when in the 60s, I'm not mistaken there. Down towards McLean Corner. Now, this corner, an uphill right-hand bend, we'll be seeing cars make mistakes there. Now they come to Copesa there, I think that corner is called, if I'm not mistaken. Chuck it in. It's a fast little corner, flat on the exit, and then you build up towards what is the Starkley Straight and the Fogarty S's, of course. That name after Cole Fogarty, if I'm not too mistaken there. Of course, we all know a C Fogarty who races in AOR. Down into chicane, left, right, over what is the crest, of course. Now it's a little bit less than the crest, but that in the old days was a massive hill. Down towards, I believe it's the Melbourne hairpin then. Chuck it in, second gear, maybe down to first for him. Get that rear end switched out then. down towards where the old pit complex is there on the left. That is one of the 2 entrances, of course. On this layer, we go around the whole one, down into Goddard Corner, and to the line. And then see, what can Rosberg do? Is he going to come in the pit lane? No, he's going to carry on then. So Rosberg, good lap for him. Should put him up into P2. Does do so. 1:26.764 then. But look at EPR Racing Archer. A 1:26 flat.
Yeah, League of his own again, but then we said that last week, and Ethan found a little bit of pace towards the end. I'm really impressed with Jan's pace. He didn't seem to have it yesterday in practice. Sorry, 2 days ago in practice, and yesterday in the actual practice race. He seemed to be struggling and like midfield, so that's quite an impressive turnaround overnight.
And yeah, see who else can improve. Now, I was talking to Vector earlier on, and he said he is struggling. Also, we got a McLaren here today. I didn't notice that. It's a good spot there going to that car. We've got a McLaren today. And, well, I had a bit of a practice earlier on. Managed to do a low 28, high 27. So the pace of that McLaren could be around about 9th, 10th if he hooks the car up. Vector, like I said, I was talking to him earlier, he is struggling horribly in the Honda right now. He cannot set the car up at all. And he said the Audi, it can be a little bit better, but he right now comfortable with the Honda, so we'll see what he can do. You got to hope for him, Milder, that he can improve, because right now 14th, they had a rough time last time out, disconnected, retired as well. Well, he retired the car, didn't disconnect, of course, speeding in the pit lane, and led to him getting disqualified. So he's going to have to concentrate this week.
Yeah, I think he should stay in the Audi. The Honda is totally improving in league racing. It feels like a nice car, but it just doesn't seem to produce lap times. It's got a V6 engine, so it's fairly heavy. It's just a little bit underdeveloped for this game, and there are faster cars available. But I mean, maybe they'll prove me wrong, but obviously time will tell. And I will call it a Honda as well, because Acura doesn't seem to work for me either.
Yeah, always call it the Honda because it is, of course, the NXX, if I'm not mistaken there. Remar Gazza P3. He is currently, that is even right behind him there. You can see in his rather kind of iconic livery. He's run this before a few times. So it's always good to see him running that livery. He's currently in P4 right now and trying to improve. He's just over just a second he needs to fight exactly, and 2 thousandths more to beat EPR Racing. Also incredibly close as well, but look at SC behind as well. So just 98 thousandths, incredibly close field right now. But if you took away Archer, almost everyone, well, up down to 11th position, 12th position within a second. Incredibly close.
Yeah, don't say take away Archer, because that's what happened last week. So
yeah, we don't want that. Sorry, Archer. Like meanwhile, Archer goes quicker actually, so never mind. Improves that lap time to a 1:25.09. Took another about a 10th or 2 out of it, so he's improving all the time.
Yeah, that's probably pole, if I'm honest. I've not seen anyone get close to a 25, to be honest. I expect a bit more from Ethan, to be honest. I reckon he'll probably break down into the low 26s. And as suspected, we can see that the Hondas are struggling down the bottom. Rob probably hopefully got a bit more pace, local friend of mine. Let's see, Pren, by the way, I just want to mention Pren, a guy I've raced with in the past as well, pretty good pace. Missed last week for some reason, personal reasons. Back this week with the McLaren, his car of choice over many years actually.
Yeah, the McLaren, one of my more favourite cars, and that's not me being biased, it might be me being biased. I love the McLaren. Well, I've always liked the look of that car, even though it's a little bit damaged right now, because that's been in the wall somewhere around this circuit. If you had to choose a car, Milder, in terms of looks, not how quick they go, what car would you say would look the quickest?
Probably the GTR, actually, the Nissan. That thing looks quite cool. Godzilla and all that.
It's got a heritage, of course. McLaren does as well, but in all different reasons, of course. In McLaren, more commonly known in Formula 1. Of course, Can-Am used to racing back in the 60s. Of course, the founder died driving his own Can-Am car. Mercedes, look, they've got a pedigree as well in GT and endurance racing. They, of course, were in Le Mans, of course, the Group C era. That paved their way to the F1 team of Sauber, of course. The same engine in the Sauber was in that C9, by the way, so fun little fact for you there. back in Group C. They could basically switch an engine out from Group C to F1. That's why it got so expensive, and it seemed to have died. And then some rotary engine came along, and we know how that went. Right now, look, EPR still leading, and comfortably there is cool there in P6 right now. So the Ferrari, good lap. And just got to say, look there, 5th, 6th, and 7th, and there is a car thrower. That's the Bentley, is that? It is, and that's squats down in 12th. Doing a bit better today right now than last week, so it's good to see they're starting to make a few good positions. And look, they're ahead of both the Hondas. So, backing up your point, I think they've chosen the wrong car for this race at least.
Yeah, well, this track, is all about flowing. You know, the car's got a flow. You need a good front end, a stable back end. The Honda has the stable back end, but the front end tends to let it down, and it's kind of lazy. The Bentley's a good car. It's just a little bit maybe underpowered. It'll be great on the altitude circuits, like you mentioned last week, like Bathurst and places like that. It will definitely fly. Still waiting for Ethan though. He's 2 temps up. Maybe this is the time that he jump forward. He needs to get ahead of Jan really, and that would be a fairly good starting position for him. Yeah,
he needs to find a couple of temps. Right now he's up by about 2 temps of a second, maybe 3 there. A little bit on that curb right now. Qualifying is over, so whatever they've said now is final. Ethan, nice and gentle at that last corner. We've seen him have a bit of banging together a few races ago. Goes P2, 6 temps off of pole position then. So Archer, unless anyone can beat him, Gaza certainly can't. Behind him, the other Mercedes, can he do it there? No, he can't. Corvette, where can he go? Stays P6 for the time being. Next car coming, the Bentley then of Squad. He stays P12. And now we wait a couple of seconds behind. I think it might be the Honda of Skold coming through the last couple of corners. It is. So Skold, 1 car ahead of him there. Hard to say who it is. It is, that'll be Jan actually in P4 across the line. Stays 4th. Skold, is he going to improve? He's 13th. Does improve, but not enough. Vector down to P15. So, again, torrid time for them. And Gunner's backed off his lap. I do think a couple of more on one. So just coming through the last corners, Papano in P10. He wants to get a lap on right now because he's being upstaged by the other Ferrari. He's just jumped in and is ahead of him. So Papano bit-sided on the exit. The Ferrari looking good here, though. He should probably get himself into P6 or 7 if he can get a lap. Only P9 for him. What can Wolf do? His teammates in P2. Stays only P8.
Yeah, that's disappointing for Wolf. He's pretty much one of the men of last week, second in the championship with 31 points behind Jan Rosberg on 35. So yeah, he'll be really disappointed with that. Just letting see if anyone else can improve later on. And this is Ethan around the last corner, so he did get another lap. And what will this do for him as Archel doesn't improve?
It doesn't improve anyway, so... oh, he does actually. Never mind, so it goes up to only 4 temps on the pace. And so again, Ethan is really showing this season, Milder, that he has got the pace to really be up front. And you have to wonder, if he didn't make those mistakes last week, could he have won that race, I fear?
Yeah, we talked about it at length actually after the race, because we're both with VSR, talked about it. And he felt that he kind of lost the race, and obviously there were some issues with penalties, but I'll let you talk through the grid. Indeed,
well, EPR Racing Archie on pole position yet again then from Ethan in P2. So it's an almost identical front row from last week. Garner then from Rosberg. Gaza ahead of Cool Vip. Then we've got Clark, Wolf, Papano, Big Kid Daddy, Camo, Skold in 12th, Squad in 13th, so Skold did get up top in the end. Squad from Noxus and Vector in 15th, and Pren in the McLaren then. The Danish driver did not really get a lap in though, but only saying that, only just 40 thousandths off of Vector, so gotta say, good showing for the new guy in the McLaren. Disappointing for the Hondas.
Disappointing for the Hondas, really impressed with Sean again, the new guy, Colvip. Pretty impressive performance for him in qualifying. Maybe it's probably important just to go through the championship quickly before it starts. We've got Jan Rosberg leading the championship after the first race on 35, then Wolfman with 31, Dean in third with 27, Ethan on 25, then Gaza in 5th, Papano 6th, Clark 7th, Skold 8th, Schwantz 9th, and Archer was the only other person to score a point in 10th. So that's just to let everyone know where we stand before this race starts.
Indeed. In terms of the constructors, Ethan and Wolf do lead it, I believe. I'm not mistaken on the top of my head. I did have a little look for a few seconds as it worked for once. And they were quite good today. But the question is they're currently in the middle of the pack for Wolf right now. And we've seen carnage into that first couple of corners just after the race. You gotta wonder, is Wolf dreading being in 8th right now exactly in the midfield? Because we saw it in the radicals. Carnage tends to happen in that mid-pack.
Yeah, the first lap's really important, a bit like Imola as well, like I was saying before. It's not easy to overtake, so you need to make an impression while you can, and when the pack's all bunched up, that's the opportunity you need. There's a big crash at McLean's in the practice yesterday, so hopefully we can avoid that, but yeah, everyone's going to have their elbows out in these first couple laps to try and make track position.
Indeed. Well, talking about massive accidents, Papano right now, he's in P9, had a horrifying accident just a few days ago in the Le Mans race for the Endurance League, and well, they rebuilt him and rebuilt the car as well, but more importantly, they've rebuilt him, glued him back together with some sellotape or some super glue, and he's back again in 9th, exactly the same place he started in the endurance race, if I'm not mistaken. So let's hope nothing terrible happens. Of course, a little bit more of a shorter track, but we are coming to Le Mans in a few weeks' time, so that'll be exciting.
It'd certainly be more overtaking, I would think, and I can't see Archie looking forward to that track with his Z4, but we're about to start.
Yep, there we go then. Get the 5 lights and rate 5 seconds, and then they roll off one by one. There we go then, 2-1, and away they go then. So, EPR Racing Archil leads the pack away yet again, though. Will he finish it is the question. That is the ultimate one, and hopefully he does this time. Ethan in P2, he'll be dreading from last week. He could have won it. Now he's going to have to go all over again. Les Gunner. He is going to be the one to challenge Ethan today. Watch out for Rosberg in the Porsche, the only Porsche here today as well. He'll be hoping for some excitement. Behind them, Gazza in the other Mercedes, ahead of the Ferrari. P6, unknown territory for him. Clark in 7th, ahead of Wolf. Now, he was lagging yesterday and last week as well. Apparently, he said he reset his internet, he's reset everything he can. And he's hoping today for a nice, unlaggy race, so I say. Behind him as well, Papano in P9, driving the other Ferrari. And see what he can do as well. He'll be hoping to come through the field like he did last week. Big Kid Daddy as well in the other Mercedes. He's ahead of his teammate Camo. And then comes the Honda of Skuld. P12 right now ahead of Squad. So we did end up overtaking him, like I said. So you're hoping to do that. Rob Knox's down in P14. Disappointing, I must say, for that Mercedes. You'd have expected him to be higher. Ahead of Vectro in P15. And then Pren in P16.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing from Rob, but Rob likes certain tracks, and maybe this isn't one that he enjoys, but he tends to move forward a little bit in races, a little bit sceptical on the first laps, but I'm sure he'll move through, as there's going to be obviously mistakes through that chicane especially, which is something to look out for, because that's where the time penalties tend to come from. That chicane's really hard to judge, and you need to carry speed for it to be fast. So Archie, although he's got further than he did in the last race, so this is a good start. Let's see as they start to form up.
One car making a small mistake. That was Gunner getting on the grass there. And watch out for that hairpin as well. To be seeing overtakes down there as they come through the last corner then. And let's see. Ethan will have the outside line into turn number 1. And Archie will have the inside. The day is a nice old Wednesday. Hope you're enjoying it like we are. But let's get ready to go then here in Donington Park. The man is ready with the flag then, and when they go, we are underway, and they all seem to be going very quickly then. And Archie immediately jumps off the grid then. Good start for him, and we're going to see it nice through turn 1 this time around though, as he'll chuck it through then. On the inside there goes, I think, Gunner and Jam battling together in the background there. A bit of a mistake there for Archie up front though. That's the mistake he needed not to make. Down they come towards the old hairpin for the first time. Archie leads, Ethan 2nd, Gunner 3rd, Rosberg in 4th, Gaz ahead of Coulthard in 6th. Wolf, good start for him up to P7. He had of Clark in 8th, Papano 9th, so he stays where he is. No mistakes down the back. Skull trying to make a few positions as well off that start line. But crucially, it is the BMW leading from that Mercedes.
Yeah, all safely through so far. There's a good start, really manic action down crane curves. As Archie made his mistake, it put Ethan all over the back of him, and he just managed to hold on. But yeah, everyone driving really sensibly so far.
So far, so good up front. Meanwhile, like I said, down the back, Skoda penalty all ready to say to his name. Good start from Vector Buller. He's made up a couple of positions. They come through the chicane. Then Archil, Ethan, then Gunner, Rosberg. Buller getting kicked up there. Then as they all manage to get it through. Nice and smooth for the first lap. Rob Noctis and what happened to Pre-Buller, because he's gone right down the back. So I think he's made a mistake or spun the car somewhere, because he's way down the back already as they come through to the end of the first lap. Still Archie leads, and you've got to wonder, right, Milder, can he hold that from those Mercedes? They're very quick in a straight line. In immediately comes Rosberg. He did that last week. He's done it again.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be close. It's
Look at
a
this.
massive gaggle here. Yeah, it's 4 abreast coming down the front straight. That's never on.
Yeah, one car on the grass. I think that was must have been Vectro on the grass, but no, Skull on the grass actually. It was there. So Skull, contact that. Oh, it's a huge. It's all going to get bunched up here. That's problems there, and there's big problems. That is going to be very heavy damage there on that Bentley. That Mercedes will be very fortunate if he didn't get much damage from the side on impact there, but. Hard to say what happened. They're going to touch again, I think, as they come down to the old hairpin. They get away with it there. And Scott, well, he got away with that one, back up to P9 from 13. That was a little bit interesting there. I don't know what happened. Got on the curb or something, spun the car around. One car going wide again in the background. But immediately, first bit of problems in this race. And I've got to say, if that Bentley hasn't got major damage, I don't know how he's got away with that one. The Mercedes, I don't think would have had too much damage. Side on the door. And of course, if you hit the tyres, you get damage, but I don't think you get too much on the door.
Yeah, it's take more than that to stop a Bentley, I would have thought. But now Ethan's dived down the inside. He's looking down the inside of Archer. He's gone for it. He's dive bombed him. It's worked. Can Archer get the switch back? No. Brilliant move from Ethan. Needed to do
Mercedes
that.
off.
Dean spins.
Yeah. That is gunnery spun. Coulthard up to P4 in the Ferrari, by the way. So good stuff. So calling the Ferrari. Keep calling. I might just call him Coulthard from now on. But he's in P4 and doing a brilliant job. Wolf in P5, Papardo, Gunner and Skull, both with penalties now in this race. So starting to see small cracks, and that'll probably be in the chicanes. But a critical mistake, and that there was the differential, I imagine, has let him down. Got on the power, and the car just stepped out, snapped on him. Just like that, the Mercedes, when it doesn't want to work, is a vicious little car, isn't it?
Yeah, he just obviously got on the power too eager, probably saw what was happening in front of him and thought, I want a bit of that as well. And spun up the rear wheels, and that's the end of that. But yeah, now can Gaz now take advantage? He's got a bit of clean air. My tip for the championship, remember, so that's a curse in itself. But running third at the moment, a good start, and I'm pretty sure he can start homing in on the front too.
Well, let's find out, of course, but now Ethan leads like he did last time out in Imola. Now, the only important question is, can he make the chicane and not go off in it? That's what he did and cost him the win last race, a mistake in the chicane, spinning it, and we know how aggressive this chicane is if he get the wrong line, so let's hope for his sake he doesn't make a mistake. Well, he's nice and smooth this time around, although talking about not being smooth, that is the Bentley, and that there was Rosberg passing him, and they had to take avoiding action there, so that Bentley's gone off. I presume he's spun it around the first sector then, so I'll just say exactly what's happened to him, but he's dropped him right down the back, and I think potentially he's got heavy damage, because look, Gunner behind as well. I think if they collided, potentially, because this Gunner's made a pit stop already.
It looks like he's spun coming out of McLean's and hit the inside wall, which is very easy to do. The outside curb can be a bit auto spin, but he's flat packed the front end of that Bentley, and that will stop it. So he's actually achieved that now. But yeah, Skull pits as well, so a lot of early pit stops. It sort of tells me that people are either going to change tyres. See how long this pit stop is. Let's just see.
Yeah, nice and short, so
yeah, nice and short, so
go
possibly hard tyres, I'm thinking.
Meanwhile, like Ethan, 1 second arm's length, he just comes down out of the old hairpin down towards McLean corner then. But nice and smooth off the start for Ethan. This is what he needs to do in these races. He needs to iron out those mistakes. If he wants to be a champion, which, and all he said to me a few weeks ago, if I'm going to do it, it's got to be this season because everyone else is gone. Now is the chance for him to do it. He's leading Archer right now. Then comes the other Mercedes of Gaz, then the Ferrari, and that's doing a good job. Talking about the other Ferrari, by the way, that's Papana in P6. So both of the Ferraris looking a bit ominous in this race. They're making very quick head race through this race. But talking about head race, there's Cameron trying to make a few positions.
Yeah, the Ferraris are impressive, especially, like I say, Sean, I'm really impressed with him in his first race, holding off Wolf, who we know is a class driver from last week. But also Gaz just edging in, trying to stay in touch. EPR as well is not letting Ethan get away too much, but Ethan's just got to do what he did last week, but cut out the mistakes. And speaking to him just before the race, he was confident he could do that. He was going to try and drop all the errors, so let's hope he can do that, and if you don't mention him, maybe you will.
We'll find out, of course, but Wolf right now, good start for him as well, actually. Well, a few of the drivers, of course, 2-3 have already stopped, but Wolf currently in P5 5 in this race. I expect he'll try and go quite long. Match Ethan's pit stop, and probably coming around the same time. They both identical strategies. They set the car up together. They work probably harder than anyone else has as well. I think Wolf and Ethan probably the best team right now for quite a long time. Wolf trying to dive up the inside or try and unnerve that Ferrari out of McLean's down to Coppice corner then. Not really opportunity here, like this circuit, it's one of those circuits where you either try and make the move and it works, or it goes horribly wrong and you end up in the gravel trap. And not really too many opportunities, is there, Milder?
No, the best one is where we saw Ethan do it, to be honest, is you get through the chicane a little bit quicker. If someone makes a mistake like we've just done with Wolfman, to be fair, you might have to back out of that to avoid a penalty. But really, you just got to get a run on someone for a corner and unsettle them. But Ethan, going back to that, what a brave move it was. He needed to do it, he knew he did. And good for Archer as well to give him the room to do it. A proper class bit of driving by the pair of them.
Yeah, the BMW just didn't get the traction at the corner. It looked like they're down out of Fog DS's there, and just really cost him down towards the Melbourne hairpin. And that's what a small mistake can do. Meanwhile, Vectro is dropped behind Rosberg right now, so Rosberg making his way through the field. Even Battle Vectro spun because he was quite a way up the field. So already you're seeing that both of the Hondas are going backwards already in this race. And gotta say for Vectro, feeling for him. He made the honest switch for him to keep him better right now, but it's not worked the way he was anticipating. And the Honda driver stuck down there. His teammate Skull in P40. I have to say, look, the only good thing about the car, it's got a decent livery on it. The very circular livery almost reminds me of Vettel's helmet from 2011, if anyone remembers that.
Yeah, it looks the part, but it just needs to produce the lap times. And yeah, right now it's about a second a lap slower. But going back to the lead, Archer now starting to match Ethan's lap time, so he's not done yet. He won't give up, and he remembers last week, obviously, he's got to make up for that disappointment. Gaz is there or thereabouts, but not matching the pace of the front two. And in the background, a mistake there from the Ferrari.
Yeah, that's
cool.
Just
that bit, Wolf on his tail.
Yeah, this is the bit where Wolf, when we talk to him all the time, he's a very nervous driver sometimes in this race. He needs, of course, to try and find the opportunity. It's those small mistakes like this right now. He made a mistake where Wolf needs to be diving, trying to make moves. You're not going to do it down into the last corner, especially that. We've seen crashes before there in the radical lead. I think that Ferrari is coming to the pit lane. Yes, it is. So in comes Cool then from what was a 5P4 in the race so far. Stops it on his marks. The yellow mechanics get to work. And up goes Jackson. He'll be coming straight back out of it there. Meanwhile, Gunner has passed Skull. So now Skull down to P14. The only car behind him there is the Bentley. And Rob Knox has, I think, spun actually, because looking at that gap, he's suddenly opened up. So yeah, Rob Knox has spun there. You can see him recovering. So small mistake for him. Yeah, it looks like he's hit
massive damage on the left-hand side by looks of it. So he's hit a wall somewhere. Schwanz's car looks, well, at least the lights work now, so that's a bonus. Yeah. So he's obviously had that fixed slightly. And there's a and Archer still matching Ethan. Oh no.
Yep, that's a big oh no. And that is the first penalty today. And well, we've cursed him, haven't we? That's what we've done today. But yet again, Ethan getting a penalty. Now, only a second, so he leads by a 10th, and that's crucial. Papano closing right up on Wolf right now, so the Ferrari's got a bit between his teeth. Wolf just cut the chicane there a little bit, but you can see the gravel getting kicked up from earlier on. A few drivers have been off that, and later on in this race, that's going to be very treacherous trying to navigate that. Luckily, no rain is forecast, and that's the fortunate thing. Now, we're just hoping, when it's the first race, a few whisperings are saying it's going to be Le Mans, and that'll be interesting if it does. But right now, we've got Papano. He's currently battling away with that Mercedes, who seems to be struggling a little bit on grip. Up front, that gap is closing a little bit right now. It may be saying 1 minute, it's 8/10. So Archil has now seen Ethan's made a mistake, and now he's going to go and pressurize him. So this is exactly what Archil, he's in his territory right now. He is basically like a honey badger, and he is going to bite immediately and try and murder you, and then see if he can do it. The small little BMW, the oldest car on this grid today. From 2012 that car is. It's from the original project cars. One of the oldest car, yeah, definitely by a long way. And it's doing its job right now.
Yeah, credit to Archil. No one really gave that car a chance when he decided to choose that. Everyone was like, really, what's he found on that car? But Ethan, the lap time suggests that maybe he had a slowdown. He tried to slow down, and then he still got a penalty anyway. So because obviously 1:30.4, so he didn't gain an advantage from that. So it suggests he did try to slow down, and it's just not decided to, notice that.
Yeah, wait, Vettel in the pit lane meanwhile. So looks like he's having a bit of a issue again today. Then so struggling if that was a scheduled stop, but that puts him almost a lap down already. Meanwhile, we've got the McLaren and the Ferrari batting together. That's something I like to see. McLaren, Ferrari, then becomes the Mercedes, then the Honda. And that's 4 different manufacturers in one straight. I know, I can't believe it either. Last season, we only had 3 manufacturers, if I'm not mistaken. Now we've got over 6, I think. Oh, the McLaren's gone. Well, I might say it was good seeing it. Now that McLaren's gone, and is he going to get on the course? What's up for the Honda? I know the McLaren and the Honda don't like each other too much in real life, but that's going to go up the inside. Dive on Scott is going to get the car stopped. Are they going to collide? I think Skull's got his stop, squeezes the McLaren out on the exit, and that's that chicane again. Got the inside curve. I mentioned it earlier, Milder. That corner can bite more aggressive than any other corner on the circuit, and most other circuits in the game, they don't bite that hard, and that chicane, unfortunately for the McLaren, has taken a bite too many.
Yeah, chicane's going to cause nothing but chaos today with penalties and mistakes. But yeah, like you said, we almost had a McLaren Honda meeting each other there and becoming one then. But fair enough, they gave each other room, and that's what we like to see. Up front, it works to Archill's advantage really, because he can try and keep the gap below a second now, and he doesn't actually have to overtake. So we'll have to watch out for that in the closing laps and just see if he gets more aggressive on the overtakes. Papano's still attacking Wolf, bit of a mistake though, and Camo's maybe take advantage of that down at the hairpin if he has to slow down.
Yeah, I think he's got away a bit, like down towards Melbourne hairpin. You can see the Ferrari very squiggly on that rear end under the brakes. Now that's a reoccurring issue of the Ferrari, and since they nerfed it a few seasons ago when they went back in GT3 and saw the Ferrari's a bit OP, they nerfed it, and that Ferrari's never really seemed too stable on the brakes, has it?
No, and speaking to Sean, who making his debut today in the red Ferrari, he suggested that the car gets harder to drive as the race goes on. So he's possibly even thinking about changing some tyres. But yeah, it was never quite the easiest thing to drive the backward step out, and if it did, that was the end of it. You weren't going to get it back. Whereas the other cars are a little bit more forgiving, especially Mercedes rides curbs and bumps a lot easier, and obviously has mega power.
Vettel already a lap down, so I think Vettel's gone off Milder. The cut to him. Yes, he has. He's got something's wrong with the car. That doesn't look very healthy. That looks like maybe getting out of the way, or it looks like he's hit the wall somewhere. The front end is gone. In comes the McLaren, meanwhile, from 13th, as he decides to bail out on the strategy right now and potentially just get himself in some clean air and try and not make more mistakes. Still, look, 16 cars in the race and 5 penalties to say the least. Archullo, 8/10 of a second behind Ethan right now, so it's that chicane right now that's doing it. Got to say, good luck from Ethan. Very consistently on the dot. The 128 dead, and got to say he's going to be happy about that. But he has lost 3 attempts to the car behind, which isn't the best ideal situation right now. But 9 attempts, you can see Ethan running a bit wide. He's taking more wide lines. Like Mercedes needs the straight line really to be as good. That's what's going to help it at Le Mans. And we fear that the Mercedes was going to dominate at Le Mans, and I think it might.
Yeah, it should be a bit of a no-brainer, that track for them. But I know Dean's very good at, Gunnar Gamble, sorry, is very good at Le Mans. Maybe the Ferrari's got pretty good tops, long gears as well, from looking in the chat, from everyone talking earlier, and driver chat. And the Porsche is no slouch in a straight line. It depends how it's set up, I would have thought. But yeah, Archil using his head clearly here, just following at the moment. He'll know about that penalty, and also probably do the opposite to what Ethan does when it comes to the pit stop. So we'll look out for that.
He did, of course. You remember last season what happened when they went around the famous Daytona road course. The Mercedes dominated that race by way over almost half a minute, maybe a bit more, over a minute, I think, from the nearest rival. And that when everyone was driving the Mercedes, because they realised the Mercedes was the best car. This season, I think they more curved it to make sure that, no, that Mercedes is not going to be the best on every circuit right now. But right now, Camo trying to challenge Dan Papano. That's the battle for P6 and 5. And up the inside, thinking, I said the foggy hairpin contact. And off goes the Ferrari through the gravel. Nothing he could do there. Had to get out of it. Oh, might be lucky. Didn't get any damage from that there. Papano making that small mistake. Camo very aggressive, I must say. Brilliant driving. But Papano could have got out of that one potentially a bit earlier on. He's going to try and come back. But I've got to say, fair and aggressive driving, but on the borderline there for Camo.
Yeah, Camo was through. He was completely alongside Papano. Papano chose to turn in, but it was too late.
Coming in.
And he'll make his pit stop now to try and rectify that and try and make the time up on the undercut. But yeah, Camo was through. A good move, completely passed, and Papano unfortunately decided to turn in.
Yes, you can, of course. There's nothing you can do. As soon as you get on the inside there, unless you're really brave, you can try and make the move. Meanwhile, we've got a Corvette trying around the outside there. As on the gas of Gunner, and he's hit the back of him there a little bit. So that Ferrari all of a sudden has got some serious pace. And where's that come from, I'm wondering?
Yeah, Sean, like I say, he's been really, really fast in some testing that we did on other cars, and then he's been fast ever since he hit the track at this place. He's lost the back of his round.
Now, haven't I?
Him.
Well, that's not gone well indeed. He's going to spin back again in the middle of the pack, and that's gone from bad to worse in the space of a few seconds for me. And poor old Colvick. Well, welcome to GT3 Elite, I must say. That's your welcome committee, and now let's never speak of that again. Well, Gunner. He's in P10. Well, he's been released now by me, so he can thank me later on for that one. Very fortunate, I must say, to have that mistake behind him, because he was kind of getting really pressurised. I must say, Skull's closing up a little bit in the Honda, and I doubt he's going to close up too much. He has made a stop, though, so that's a bit surprising that the Honda's doing surprisingly well all of a sudden.
Yeah, Dean's pace isn't what it was. Or what I was expecting at least anyway, and obviously he was quite fast in qualifying, so I wonder if he's carrying an issue with damage. I would have expected him to be matching pretty much the times of the front guys.
Meanwhile,
at the front EPR Archills now, and yeah, exactly, you just called it. He's 0.5 now behind Ethan. Maybe this is the charge coming.
Yeah, this is it. Took over 4 attempts out, so that must have been surely a slowdown penalty for Ethan last lap. And again, look, you can see he's struggling at Mercedes. Looks a bit nervous, looks a bit twitchy, but Archill just sitting behind him, just wondering. In that BMW, you can hear the engine roaring down the straight. One of the loudest cars in GT3, apart from probably the Lamborghini. So let's see down the straight. Ethan, look, he's got the straight line speed there. He's pulling across and trying to break the toe ever so slightly, not allowing that car to get anywhere. But it makes a small mistake through the chicane. The rear end steps out a bit. Archie a bit wide as well. But this is where that Mercedes is so quick, down towards Fogarty hairpin. And again, over-rotates down the rear. Has he got the car slowed? Yes, he has. And it just seems that downhill braking, the Mercedes looks horrible.
Yeah, it does look a little bit twitchy, and Ethan getting a little bit worried. He's sideways again.
Yeah. Surely.
Just maybe trying to push too much.
Yeah. Making mistakes.
I was quite impressed with the BMW pace down the pack straight, actually. I thought the Mercedes would walk away from him, but actually it held on fairly well. Gaz still just hovering in the background, just can't get close enough. He's about 5 seconds behind, doing fairly good lap, actually faster than Ethan that last lap. But he's just not quite a factor in the race, this Wolf Pits.
Yeah, Wolf decided to come in the pits now then. In comes Camo as well. Nice quick there, building up on the 60km/h window. He can do that. Is the Bentley down in 12th position. He's behind Clark in the Lamborghini. Not many Lamborghinis running anymore now. And, well, there's no Audis, and you've got to feel quite strange when you've got the 2 cars that were last season at the beginning. We had 8 Audis, and they all switched to the Mercedes cars, and now we've got no Audi. So it really just shows how quickly the power balance can change to one car to another.
Yeah, I used a Lamborghini yesterday actually in the practice, and it felt really good around the track, so I'm quite surprised there's not more. But maybe people just fancy a change, and to be honest with you, the pace still seems really good. So you imagine the front 2 cars of the Mercedes and the BMW, Z4, and no one would have given the Z4 a hope last season. So Archil really, really impressive with that car.
Yeah, well, he's opened the gap for Ethan, so Ethan's got the bit between his teeth right now, and hopefully for him, he can try and pull and not make mistakes, and that is the crucial thing. He's got a second penalty. Now is not the time for him to make a mistake, and it's definitely not the time for me to curse him either. So let's hope none of those 2 happen, but I fear probably the latter will. Well, meanwhile, we've got a battle going down the back, by the way, and I'm trying to see who that is. It's crossing the line. I think that's Papana and Wolf very close together. Yes, it is. We've got another 2 close together through turn 1. I'm trying to spot who that is. I think that might be the leaders, actually, because there's only 4 attempts between them. Yes, it is. So, Archil still challenging down. They come through the old hairpin, of course. The little tricky little right-hander, and you can really throw the car through that sometimes, you know, grip. And if you get on that AstroTurf motor, and as I know, I think we both experienced it before, you could go off very quickly through that.
Yeah, I experienced it yesterday. I hit the AstroTurf, touched the curb and ball was spun straight into the inside wall. But yeah, I was just testing it for the guys to make sure the wall was good. But yeah, there's not really any curbs on this track that aren't slippery, and the AstroTurf will pull you off and probably get you a slowdown, so you get a double whammy on that regard.
Now once you go off that, there is no coming back. Told Matt, no coming back. We've got to say there is no coming back for Ethan's penalty. He might try and challenge it later on after the race is finished, but I think it might be a bit hopeless to try it. But we'll see what the penalty comes later on. He did try and challenge the penalty's last moment, meaning one. The penalty dropped back a little bit there from from Wolf, so to say. So, small mistake for him potentially. 10 position the other Ferrari that trying to come through it again. Thought that his Skull just ahead of him. So, you've got to wonder that Ferrari should try and make pretty easy work of that slower Honda.
Yeah, it should. Once it gets there, we know the turning of the Honda's not that great. The Ferrari should be able to outmaneuver it at some corner. I would have thought maybe the last corner or the hairpin. He's already gaining massively out of McLean's there, or Cop, sorry, is it? And then down into Fogarty's, just have to try and get a run through the chicane. Maybe a bit too close actually. Just try and get a run through, and that's a mistake from the Honda. And this should be like taking candy from a baby.
Yeah, he'll dive up the inside then. Melbourne hairpin. Let's see, he's going to cover him. He's going to force him. It's just like Skull does too often. He tries to cover him off. He's probably twisted the cameras too much. Now we'll try and get the cut back. Can he do it? Almost collides with the Ferrari. There comes the Honda then. How's the VTEC kicked in, or has that Ferrari just got the pace on the brakes? I think I might be so. It's still going to try and do any cut back then. And I fear not. He hasn't got the grip there in the Honda. Can't do a lot about it. Down the straight. We know how quick that car can be. And he's going to try. Fair play. He's going to come back at him then. Is he going to try to dive up the inside? Thinks better of it. Then down towards the first corner. And almost runs into the back of him.
Yeah, good move though in the end. And again, a lot of respect, no contact. And that's the Ferrari released from the slightly slower Honda. But it's still not quite a bad debut from Skuld and Spectra. Obviously, they'll know the potential of the car. Not the best track for them. Le Mans will maybe suit a bit more with a V6 engine, and we don't know what sort of speed that car has because we haven't really seen anyone try it before. So it's a bit of an unknown, but my feeling when driving it is a bit sluggish on the old steering there. So we'll see, but I would imagine a Ferrari should walk away from him now if we can keep it on track.
Well, that's the important thing. Can the Ferrari keep it on track? We've seen Ferrari spin a few times in real life, and let's hope we don't see a Ferrari spin today. Well, we've seen it once spin, let's hope we don't see it again. I've got to say, fair play to the Honda. It has got a lot of straight line speed, and you can see there, as, well, never mind. Never mind, he goes off.
Did it again.
I've done it again.
You did.
Off the road. Again goes Skuld, and he's dragged all the wrong gravel on the circuit there. That's not going to do anyone go down there, is it? Because, remember, live on 3.0 and the track degradates as well when you go off the road. So, that's going to make a few drivers a little bit angry at Skuld. They're dragging all of that straight back onto the racing line. Yeah,
the corner's bad enough without having gravel down there. But yeah, they kind of both went in deep last the late breakers, and then, like I say again, the Honda not quite turning through the corner as well as Skuld would have hoped for. But yeah, we'll see how he gets on in the next few races. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they know something we don't. But out front, it's still pretty much as you were, with Ethan soaking up all the pressure now from Archil. They've lapped Pren and Rob there, so yeah, that'll be disappointing for those two. But we know they were carrying damage early in the race.
We have lost one car already, though. Hard to see who that is. We have lost one car from this race, down to 15 runners. Vettori now last position in all of this. There is the McLaren in the background getting out of the way. And that's a Pren. Meanwhile, Ethan through turn 1 and 2. 4 attempts the gap between him and his nearest rival and potential championship rival in that stage. But right now, Ethan doing what he's doing. We're coming to just under halfway through this race. There is the battle, meanwhile, between Pren and that's Rob Noctis, is it not? Yes, it is. Battling away. So I thought that was a quicker cut because I'm used to seeing the Mercedes lapping cars, not getting lapped. That's a new unseen territory. Meanwhile, Parno and Wolf still together. And these two, Milder, have been pretty much indecisible this race, haven't they?
Yeah, it's almost like there's a tow rope attached to the Ferrari and he's just being pulled around by Wolf. But again, that's just the nature of the track. You've just got to keep pushing and try and get a mistake out of the guy in front. We're seeing that with the front two guys. They're both driving the wheels off their respective cars, and it's going to take a mistake for that to change. But also, we know with Ethan's penalty. So, yeah, Archie, like I say, at the moment he doesn't have to do anything. He just needs to sit there and then maybe react differently to what Ethan does with his pit stop strategy, which I'd imagine will be happening in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, you've got to also wonder, Milder, how long does it take for a pit stop around here? That is the important question, because look, Rosberg's only about, what, 27, 26 seconds, and is lapping at the same pace, if not a little bit quicker occasionally than the leaders.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's around about 25, 24, something like that, because it's only a short pit lane, so... Yeah, Rosberg doing well. He's actually really surprising me. I was actually going to open up when we started the broadcast saying that he was struggling, but yeah, he's found pace overnight. He must be working pretty hard at it. And if you want to be champion, then that's what you've got to do. And leading the championship right now, he needs to defend that.
Hello.
There's contact
there. That's something. Is that lag, or has Wolf made a mistake there into the corner? Very strange. I imagine that must have been. He's got damage on the Ferrari. That must have done about 2-3 damage. So. That's not going to be ideal. I think Wolf must have lost the rear and had to slam on the brakes all of a sudden. Now, yesterday, and I saw this as well, he had a wheel issue where it disconnected, it overheated. Now, for him, I hope it doesn't. And a few drivers did offer to assist him there as foreground. You see one car a little bit wide through the first couple of corners. That must have been a Camo bit stopped the road, I think, making a small mistake, but he's got away with it. Yes, he did. He's not too far up the road. Meanwhile, EPR's made a mistake because Ethan, 127.9, so he's opened that gap all of a sudden, back up to over a second, and now it goes all of a sudden straight back under a second, under the brake. So it just seems to me that Archill's a lot more braver on those brakes right now. But then again, the same corner that Ethan overtook him earlier on, you can see again the rear end snapping on him. I expect I'll see him in the pit in the next couple of laps, or that or Archill will come in and try and do an undercut.
Yeah, Archill should be better on the brakes with a lighter car, so he should be okay. On the first lap, maybe he made a mistake we didn't quite see through the chicane, or maybe a slight slowdown, and it allowed Ethan to get alongside him and dive down the inside. But at the moment, like I say, he's still floating around that 1 second gap. But no doubt Ethan's now starting to try and drop the hammer and try and build a gap before the pit stops.
Yeah, or he's got to try and do that right at the death of the session. Meanwhile, there is Papano and Wolf still battling together, still 7/8 temps between them, despite that damage they had earlier on. Everyone pretty much all has made their pit stop. So the current order led, apart from of course, the top four who haven't. Ethan leads from Archill in P2, Gaza in P3, Big Kid Daddy in P4 there in the Mercedes, doing a good job for him. Then they're ahead of Rosberg then in P5. Then behind him we've got Camo, Wolf and Papano. That's the battle for 6, 7, 8. Behind them we've got Corvip in P9, Skold in P10. They're doing a relatively okay job right now in the Honda. He's fending off Clark in P11. Behind them the Bentley in P12, doing a much better race than last week. Further down the field we've got Pren. Terrible race for him right now in the McLaren. Does not seem to get that car hooked up at all. Rob Knox's down there in P14. And right down the back, closing up low, is Vector having yet another torrid time in this season.
Yeah, so it's disappointing from the Hondas. Well, Skold actually doing fairly well in the Honda, but I'm expecting a few other cars to come and catch him. But yeah, it's all brewing up nicely at the front. Gaz, unfortunately, hasn't been able to hold on. It's just about 3-4 temps a lap slower on average. Like you say, Big Prenta doing a Big Kid Daddy. Sorry, Big Prenta going. That's going back a bit.
Yeah.
Big Kid Daddy doing a good job as well. He's again, he's about the same slower than Gaz, so he's in a bit of no man's land. Jan though is the man to watch. 28.9. That's actually a little bit slower than the leaders, so he could maybe steal third.
That is always a possibility. Well, the gap here is what, 29 seconds. It is opening up now to Ethan a little bit, so I think yes, should be third position. He should get back on circuit then. Gaza is just within that window though, so it'll be very interesting to see. Well, 22 laps to go. About just under 20 laps to go. 19-ish laps to come then. So we are coming to the end of this race then. We're in the last 50%. Papano, there he is, still trying to close up to Wolf. Making mistakes though in the Ferrari. The Verberating car. One of the best cars, I must say, in the previous seasons. Doing an okay job right now, as long as it doesn't spin off like the other Ferrari did earlier on. Not talking about spinning, not having Ethan doing that right now. He's doing an okay job. Currently is the field coming through towards turn 1 then. And he's finished 23 of the laps. Behind him though is that ever threat. And he's keeping within that second. That's the crucial thing, Milder. He just needs to be within a second. Now it's not the way that Archer wants to win it, I imagine. I think he would rather pass him on circuit, but if it's a win, it's a win.
Yeah, that's the deal right now. He needs to just hold steady behind Ethan. He knows he probably can't get past the Merc because of the power disadvantage he has, although we did see he was pretty good in the slipstream. But he's not exactly going to go broad past him on the straight, is he? So, yeah, my strategy personally would be just to hang on, keep the gap as it is for the moment, and then maybe see what happens after the pit stops, and then maybe start attacking after that if it doesn't come out his way. I'm imagining he'll go either undercut or overcut and just try something different.
Well, battle going on between Scold and the Bentley of SC there, and I wonder what they're doing down there then. And there we are, so there's S. Clark's past Scold then, so the Honda now behind the Lamborghini, and those two cars very similar in essence of look sometimes, but the Lamborghini just doing his job right now. Is currently in 10th position. Behind him there is the other giant car, that's the Bentley, and looming presence, I must say, behind them. And I wouldn't want to be in the grasp of that, because that Bentley, fair play to it, it's got a very high top speed.
Yeah, when you asked me about my favourite car, actually, it was the Bentley. I just thought fast and thought GTR, but the Bentley is actually probably my favourite car.
Well,
but that's not important right now.
Ethan's made a mistake.
Yeah, Ethan's made a mistake. Oh, it's 3 tenths.
It's closing.
Is that damage on the front of Arch? Is that damage on front of Archers? Let's just have a quick look.
No, it doesn't look like it.
No, okay. I thought maybe nudged him at the hairpin like we saw with Papano, but no, it looks good to me.
So it must have been Ethan made a mistake down into one of the hairpins there, because it closed all of a sudden from over 1.5 and then down to 5. So a mistake has happened somewhere for your leader, but now he's opening the gap again. And this is this inconsistency that we've seen. And this Archer, who seems to have got some miraculous pace or something, is just sticking with him. Now we know how good that BMW actually is in the hands. There goes Ethan, he's made a mistake there. And that is a mistake, inconsistency. That is going to plague him again, Lizzie. Surely not. For the second time in the row, he does not need to make a single more mistake in this race. He needs to open it up. He's got a second at least on the penalties. We'll have a look at it in a little while and see if he's got any more. But right now, it is that 1 second time penalty. It is 2.
2.
So, that is now crucial. That is the thing that's happened to him. Also, penalties there for Scold and Coolvip on 2 as well. 4 and 3 for Rodnockus and Vetcher, of course, with that 3 down the back.
It's 3 for Ethan.
Yeah, he's in. So,
yeah, he's got 3 second penalty now.
Now that, I must say, have I just cursed him again? A fair amount.
Yeah, this is a bit like last week. It's starting to egg away from him, and he...
Oh, the seam's on bail, isn't it?
Yeah, 3 seconds, that's going to be tough. Unless Archie makes a mistake or gets penalties himself, but he's looked kind of like more stable of the two, if you know what I mean. He's floating in and out of the 27s, 28s a bit like Ethan. They kind of look very similar on pace, but Archie, you kind of think can do the pace a bit more easily. Let's see what he can do now that he's on clean air.
Meanwhile, Vector's overtaken the McLaren down the back. Then that's for P14 and 15 then, so battle potentially growing then. The McLaren's ready for quick, and look at the train of cars. That is that Big Kid Daddy, I imagine, in between them. I think it is. It's his teammate then.
No,
so
it's Cam, yeah.
It's Camo then. So in between them, there he's in P6. Wolf just sitting behind in P7, dropping back. Vetcher gets out the way down towards the hold hairpin, and let's say Vetcher, one of the more respectful drivers there out of the lot of them. Ethan rejoined in P3, way ahead of Rosberg actually. So I'm quite surprised there.
Yeah, 10 seconds out of Rosberg, so yeah, we can count Rosberg out of that, but now we'll see what Archie does. Will he pitch straight away, or will he set a scorching lap time? Because they want to win it on the road, no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'll say up for the time being. So that's it. Last lap at 28.8, this lap at 28.3. So a small inroad, but he needs to really take, because Ethan could go in the 27s. So let's find out, of course. And Ethan is now the driver we're looking at with the 3 second time penalty. He has to not make a single mistake now and open that gap. He needs to do what Sebastian Vettel in the Canadian Grand Prix couldn't do, open a gap. And that is what he needs now. And we know that Mercedes is a lot quicker in the right hand and in the right scenario than everyone else in this season. The car, which dominated last season, on course, potentially, for a win on track, but with the penalties, who knows? It's about a 20-second pit stop, isn't it, Lo?
Yeah, and he ran wide again there at turn 1. I'm just hoping that wasn't another penalty. He seems to have got away with that, but that was very close to a slowdown as well. So he's on the ragged edge. He needs to be now. These are really, really important laps, and Archill's turning up the pressure. Ethan needs to respond and find his best laps of the race. He needs to be down in the 27th to try and take advantage of Archill not pitting at the moment, but I'm trying to keep an eye on the delta, and it seems to be hovering around 20 seconds. So we'll see what Archill does through this time as he comes round in towards Goddard's the last corner.
Out with the mudboard hairpin down towards Goddard. Of course, one of the definitely one of the more famous racing names on this circuit. Stays out for another lap then. So he's staying out for a long old time, and you've got to wonder. It's very brave, isn't it?
28-0 again, so he's really turning the screw now. Ethan, though, looks like he's responding to that. Maybe not. It's just it dropped to 19, now it's back to 20. So see what he does this time. But Archil now turning the screw, and Ethan needs to be in 27s now.
Do you think, Milder, that the mentality of having that car behind him has made Ethan crack a little bit?
Yeah, it will. If you got that car, like you said, you mentioned it yourself. The Z4 is a loud car, so you would have heard it. And yeah, they're now racing basically like they were, but now there's a gap between them, and they're racing on time now. So 2 tenths gained by Archil on that last lap. So Ethan's got to push.
I think he's going to come out in the lead when he pits, you know. It's going to be awfully close. I think 21 seconds is the window. If he does below that, he's going to come out behind. Meanwhile, Big Kid Daddy, he's going to come out ahead of the Ferrari then. So, 9 position right now for him. We were still waiting for a few other drivers. Oh, that's the McLaren off. Now, what's happened to him? He's spun through turn 1 then. Now, has he had contact with someone, or is that a spin on the curb, do I wonder? He
may have even lost it on the way into the corner, or clipped the curb on the inside and lit up the rears, but
was close to X-ray. And we'll find out. Meanwhile, is Archer going to come in this lap? No. And now, you wonder he's going to have to come in soon, because that is lap car. That will be, most likely, of Skuld up the road. I think it is. Skuld just ahead of him there in the Honda. That'll Vectra, one of the two of the Devils. And meanwhile, look, whatever it is, it's going a bit wide as they kick up the grass through turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, so 27.9, so we've got a 28.3, a 28.0 and a 27.9. So Archill's doing what Ethan needed to do, and Ethan's coming across the line now, and I imagine it's another 27.9, so he's responded. Matching. So this is going to be extremely tight. I don't know how far Archill's planning on going. Probably, maybe he's doing a gas and going to the end, but this is going to be so touch and go.
Right now, Ethan needs to be setting 26s to win this race. And I don't think we're going to be seeing a 26 anytime soon. But no, count your chickens. Meanwhile, Rosberg, there he is. And he's only 9 seconds. And if Ethan and Archil start battling together, which is going to be the likelihood, they're going to start battling. And hopefully we don't see any contact between them. They're very respectful drivers. We'll see what Rosberg can do, because he's closed that gap a little bit. It was about 10 seconds, down to 9 now. So he is closing. Meanwhile, is Archil? Surely he's going to have to react sooner rather than later. All mistake there. And if I was Archil, Milder, I would come in right now.
I would, because his car's starting to move around. He's starting to push really, really hard, and he's yeah, you're right. Oh no, he's not staying out, but the car is really loose now on the hairpins, and it's the first time we've seen that. So he must be really on the edge. 27.9 again.
Consistent though. Look how consistent it is. It's incredible. Really, look behind him as well. Ethan and Rosberg almost the exact same lap time. They're all in the 27.9s. This is absolutely incredible right now, how close these drivers are. Let's see what can Ethan do. Made a small mistake this lap, though. He's made a little bit wide. The gap behind, though, is opened up by just about a few tenths of a second. Let's see, 28.2. Bit down that lap, another 2 tenths. What behind is Rosberg doing? That's the question as well. Let's see, across the line he comes, and it's a 28.7. So yeah, he made a big mistake that lap then. Lost a huge heap of time. So these 3 drivers are expecting to really battle for the lead of this race. And you've got to wonder, where's Gazza going to come out between? Does he come out between Ethan and Rosberg?
I think it'd be ahead of Rosberg just, I would have said. But Rosberg sort of has decent laps than off laps. So it's still maybe proving my point that the Porsche isn't quite suited to this track, which is what I suspected. But Wolf's starting to lag a little bit, which we saw last week.
Never good.
Not good. Ideal. Yeah, not ideal. 2 tenths down Archil this lap on his best lap. But he is really pushing. You can see the way he just dives into that hairpin and he just hooks the car, squares it up. Obviously, learning from last lap where the car was loose, he's just now starting to try and square the corners off. And we'll probably see it again out of here, or try and just feed the power in. There we go, and out he comes, and let's see if he does another 27.9.
Let's see. 28.0, so just a little bit off, just a tenth. Needs to get a bit of pace up. What's Gaza setting as well? He is dropping back a little bit further back in 28.3, so it's that consistency there. Then we got Ethan as well. Now let's see what he can do. 22 seconds, so that gap, I think Ethan's made a mistake this lap, you know, because look, that gap was 20. I expect this to be into the 130s actually. Let's see, is it? Yeah, 130 has made a mistake.
That's the end of that. Yeah, that's what it took. They were right on the edge, and it was going to take a mistake from one of them. Ethan's the one that's made the mistake, which we suspected might happen, pushing on the edge like that, because the Mercedes looked a bit looser than the Z4, but it's not over yet, not over by a long way. If there's a problem in Archill's pit stop or anything like that, or he has a half spin, because again, we've seen him starting to get a little bit loose now. He's pushing on the edge.
Yeah, look at the gap load between P1 and 2. It was like 8 seconds. That's up to 9 in a bit, 9.5. So Archill has now suddenly decided, I think he's going to come in this lap. He's got, what, 11, 12 laps at the end. If he can come in now, he knows comfortably he'll be ahead of Ethan. He does not need to push himself into an unnecessary mistake, which we've seen drivers do. As he comes down towards Goddard's, then on the left you can see the old pit, well, the old way into the pit, then they used to use in the 90s. I think they still use it today, but not as common. Are we going to see him come in this time? No. He's staying out. Is he going to stay out as long as he can then? Let's see lap time of 28.2. That's 28.0, so I say. Exactly, I think, almost the same lap time to the 1,000th than last time. What can Gaza do? That's the question. 28.3. So, again, consistent. Top 2. What is Ethan doing though? He is the question. He is the enigma. And he needs to be closing that gap up again. It's about a 20 to 22 second pit stop. Across the line, and it is 27.
Just to mention, Jan, last lap 27.4, just to prove my point that he's fast and then slow sort of thing. So 27.4 is probably the fastest lap of the race. And then a 30.0 this lap.
Proves it exactly.
Yeah. Porsche, very difficult to drive, I would say.
Mr. Lucky McGee, and back there is a car getting out of the way, and I believe may have even touched the wall potentially the recent times. That front right of the car is a bit bent upwards. Of that must be Rob Knox, so it is in 13th. And Skull currently, not a bad job, but he is being beaten by a Bentley right now. I must say that's the Bentley, fair play to it, doing a good job. 22 seconds up the road.
Yeah, like I did sort of mention that I think the Hondas may drop back. They were kind of like maybe up there because of the pit stops, but yeah, slightly disappointing again from the Hondas, and the state of that Bentley, he's doing quite well to be in 11th, to be honest.
Yeah, despite, of course, luckily for the car he hit. What car did he hit? It was one of the fellow Mercedes drivers. It's hard to remember what one. I think it was Big Kid Daddy he hit. But very fortunate he didn't roll, because we've seen how easy cars can roll in this game, especially if that was the BMW hitting that Mercedes. I think that Mercedes has been over. Luckily the Bentley, which has got a very straight front end, you've got to be fortunate, haven't you?
Yeah, he remember seeing the contact, and also he hit the inside wall at McLean's, which kind of finished the job. But Ethan's kind of matching Archil now, but it's probably a bit too late because of that horror lap that you had. Feel for him again. I felt that he maybe had the pace to win this, and he was doing everything right, but the slowdown penalties have seemed to have bit him for the second race in a row. Jan again back in the 27.8s. I'm sure he'll do a 30 next lap as well, just to prove it again.
Top 2. No, well, sorry, say 1st and 4th. Almost the same lap time again. It just proves the point how close this field really are, but somehow how spread out it can be. It's incredible. It's the inconsistency of small mistakes which are really costing them the potential for an absolute all-out duel in these races.
Yeah, it's not over yet. Obviously, we're still waiting for Archil to do his pit stop, and that's surely just a matter of time now. Yeah. But he's doing the right thing. He's staying out. He knows he's got this couple tenths advantage on Ethan at the moment.
He's got to come in, I think, surely now and soon, because he's got 2 lap cars. One car in the pit, and that is the McLaren, who's presumably gone off the road and hit the wall again, because that's the 3rd stop. Yeah, look at the front end of that thing. And I think, yeah, long stop, so that's been damaged. And looks potentially like a possible retirement if due course, but that's really all that's helping Vector right now of not being last position in this race.
Yeah, he's having a bit of a horror show, but obviously missed last week, so we're giving the benefit of the doubt. He's just getting back into it. I would have said Here's the debut guy, Sean or Cole, in 9th place. Not a bad debut. 32.8 last lap, so obviously a mistake, I would have said, but yeah, a pretty solid debut. You'd be fairly happy with that, I would have thought. Not that far behind Big Kid Daddy actually, so still opportunity for more positions. The only real battle on track at the moment is Muck Wolfman and Cam, so until obviously Archie pits, and then we'll see how far Ethan is behind. So
it's going to be close actually, and this is a point that I've just noticed. Look at Gaz and Rosberg. They are exactly 20 seconds separated as well. This could be awfully close. There is, what's that? Was that Vector getting out of the way there, I think, of the other car? Yeah, no, it's Scold then. So Scold and his ways of getting out of the way of other cars. And Ethan and Scold, they're not often the friendliest of foes sometimes. I remember in the Radical League, these two had a bit of a coming together into the last corner. And Scold, who's now a lap down, is probably dreading that choice even more, isn't he? Because he's been lapped. He wasn't lapped last week. And now he is, so it's going bad for worse.
Yeah, he's gone from a car that everyone knows is a solid car that has a good pace, and he's gone to a completely unknown quantity like we discussed earlier. So let's give him a couple rounds and see how he goes. He may swap back.
Yeah, well, you might do.
That's my prediction.
No, disappointing nonetheless for the pair of them. The Honda team, and they're racing on arrival. I think their team name is, or one of their team names they used to call it. They switch it from time to time, but meanwhile, up front, it is the old former One Pound Fist Racing Team Limited until they dissolved it. And now it is Wolf and Ethan leading, doing a beautiful job. There is Wolf in P6. Not the best result for him that he wanted this race, but with a penalty as well. We'll update you on the penalties in due course, but look at the gap up front, 24 seconds.
Yeah, Ethan horror lap last lap, 29.5. So it's advantage Archie. He'll come out in front quite easily, I would have said, by maybe 2 or 3 seconds. And obviously we know Ethan's got the penalties of 3 seconds. Sean is 4, yeah. So 5, 4 and 3 at the bottom.
Scott's got a habit of getting the most penalties in these races. I think your leader made a mistake, you know, because that's going to be 130. That lap traffic he's got in the way, I think.
Yeah, so we'll see what Ethan does. Now, if Ethan can do a 27 this lap, that will bring him back into it, believe it or not. So it's down to 22 seconds now. It was around about that when he came out the pits, and maybe even 20-ish. So that could have brought him back into it, and Archer will know that.
Well, Ethan's coming across the line now, then let's see. Going set at 27 behind him, there's Scold, and let's see. That's 28-1, so he's taken 2 seconds. 2 seconds out of him. That put him down right into the mix. I do not know who's going to win this race. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to have a battle. It's a shame that Archer didn't pit earlier, because you could have had a lot more of a better battle in this race. But unfortunately, it's just kind of keeping on straight of our seat. We do not know who's going to win it here today. That's the great thing about endurance racing and GT racing in general. Anything can happen, it usually does. Meanwhile, you can see in the background the giant yellow Bentley. It just stands out, doesn't it? From a mile away. You can see it from everywhere.
He's picked the right livery, isn't he? You can see him coming a mile away. And there he is now, look, behind Archil. So Archil now, surely he'll think about pitting, because he'll know that his advantage that he built up is almost gone. I'll say he'll come out about a second in front still. I'm pretty sure of that. But Ethan's he's now got a chance. He's got a small chance to do this. He needs to get in front of Archer at least, and then maybe try and build a gap. But Archer's determined to stay out. Maybe he can see that he's got some clean track in front of him now, and he'll try and build the gap again. It's going to be touch and go.
Yeah, touch and go. 20 seconds between those two drivers. 8 seconds between the top two. And that, remember, we're rating and seeing what Rosberg's going to do in this. There, Ethan, rear end again, stepping out that Mercedes. I think it might just be Ethan's driving style. He tends to drive with that loose setup and prefers it for drive power. And you've got to say...
Oh, nice lap.
Yeah, it's a good lap that time around then. So 27.6. So took a couple of attempts out of it. I've got to say, it really proves how bad that Honda is, because it was this massive gap. Look at the lap time. It's got 33s. Over 5 seconds though, so he's obviously made a mistake. Meanwhile, we've got the Ferrari battling away with that Mercedes, so we risked that real life there. I thought for a second I made contact, then down towards Goddard's then. Now what happened? Let's see. Is he going to try around the outside? That'd be brave. We're doing that. Try and get the cut back there. The downshift there and the absolutely beautiful on that Mercedes. The backfire, of course, now down the straight. The Ferrari's quick, but look, the Mercedes opens up a little bit now. Keeps to his line, though, so gives him an opportunity to try around the outside, but can't do it. 22 seconds again, waiting for that stop. Are we going to see an overtake potentially here between Mercedes and Ferrari? Big Kid Daddy just holding the line right now.
Yep, Sean got very close to the hairpin and into Goddard's, but very good defending there from Big Kid Daddy. And at the front, it's a bit status quo, 27.5 that time from Archil, so he's turned the screw more, he's found even more pace. Ethan has to respond, but I'm not sure he can.
Indeed, he's got to wander down towards the chicane, then down towards Fogarty corner. And chucks it through, nice and gentle there is Wolf, and ahead of him Camo, who's made a small mistake there actually, gone in the grass, gone in the gravel a little bit for a second, but kept his composure, back up then as they come down towards Melbourne again. 36 out of 41, still the leaders yet to stop, and this is worrying me. Have they forgotten about the stop, or are they just going to come in on that like 40 and go through one that last dash like Vettel did in, I think it was in 2010 he did that once, got away with it in Monza. And there we go, yeah. Ferrari again trying to get that exit. That's a better exit this time. Had to take a bit of avoiding action there as that Mercedes right alongside him. Now down the straight again though. Opens that gap a little bit more. The Ferrari can't do it on the exit though. That's it. Has he got anything to match the Mercedes? I don't think he has. It's incredibly close though. As it comes to line, the Ferrari flashes his lights a little bit just to say, what are you doing? Get out of the way, I'm quicker. And he wants to try and come through, but that Mercedes like down the straight. Nothing in God's earth could defend from that coming. It's like a ballistic missile down the straight, and well, our Ferrari is a bit slower than that, and but fair play to him, he's trying to keep his cool, trying to keep his composure. It's his first race, the reserve driver, and he's doing a fantastic job, and what could have possibly been up into P7-6 if he not made that mistake earlier on.
Yeah, like I say, he was doing a fantastic job until that mistake, a little spin, and also I seem to remember him tapping up the back of a car. But yeah, he's all over the back of an experienced driver and Big Kid Daddy, or BKD as we call him, because it's just easier. But yeah, still up front, Archie was just got an exit now.
He's got an exit now, down towards the thing, but don't count it out though. Look at the Mercedes, it's going to come back up the inside. That Ferrari will have to break out of it, surely not around the outside, has to do it then. But he'll get a good exit though, he'll get the cut back, there we go. Nice. Textbook switch back down. Now we're going to see that Mercedes come straight back through though. I see he's quick in a straight line. The Ferrari, you can see rear end tries to step out under the brekes, but then keeps it together. Though it's the Mercedes this time, makes that mistake. Lap 37 of 41. It's leader, still Archil. Second, still Gaza. Then we've got Ethan and Rosberg. They're separated by still just 9 seconds between them. And it's Archil. This lap going to come in. He's got to do it this lap or next lap. Because if he doesn't, he'll make a mistake potentially, and that's not what he wants to do. He needs to come in sooner rather than later. Is it this time he's going to come in?
Well, he's too experienced. I'm sure he's too experienced to forget to pit. Yeah, and it is this lap. He's in.
Right, he's in now.
This is important.
This is important. 20 seconds. 21 seconds is the gap between him and Ethan. This is crucial. This is what he needs. Is Gaz going to come in as well? I think Gaz has stayed up for a little bit longer, actually. Ethan, a small mistake there. And now, let's see as he comes down towards the last corner. This is crucial. Needs to come out. Now he does. Bolted it on. Straight out the pit then. He's going to come out ahead, I think. You know, it's going to be awfully close otherwise. Let's see down the straight. You're going to see the BMW. He's way ahead, actually. So, a bit more surprising, actually. I thought it would be a bit closer. About 20 seconds our telemetry and all the readings said it was going to be about that gap. And it isn't. So, looks like Archio has got it then. So, Ethan, those small mistakes he's made in that race has cost him. He's set the quickest lap he's done all race long, though. For a little bit. Maybe he could have said a bit quicker. Maybe a second or so. But that seems to have been that then. But now he's still got the battle though for who's going to finish on the bottom step of the podium. And still Camo and Wolf back again. So Wolf's got ahead of Camo again then. So the battle for 5th and 6th. And Wolf makes a small mistake again.
Yep, so it kind of panned out how I thought. There's like a couple seconds between them. And mistakes from Ethan were costly in the end, and unfortunately it's maybe cost him a chance at his first win. It's just kind of a repeat of last week without the spin.
Yeah, it's a carbon copy without a few spins, but never say never. Hope it doesn't happen, but mistakes still can happen. Meanwhile, Camo is trying up to Wolf as they come through towards the Fogarty S there. And again, you can see Camo's got a good exit here. But Wolf just blocks it off. In comes Gaza. Now, that's going to be battle between him and Rosberg. We'll keep an update on that in due course. Meanwhile, like Camo trying to get a bit between him and Wolf. And he's going to get a good exit here. He's going to come down. Wolf's going to cover him off there. Good defending from Wolf. Forces him round the outside. Can he do it late round the outside? Try and get the car back, Len. And can he do it? Wolf there covers him off. Good defending from Wolf. Great driving from Cameron as they come down towards the last corner then. Let's see. Wolf gives him a bit of an opportunity around the outside. He'll try the cut back if he can do it. So Gaz is ahead of Rosberg, but only just. And he's done it there. And Camo still can't pass his fellow rival of Wolf there. And Wolf looks like, unless he makes a mistake, fifth. Meanwhile, Ferrari going off in the background there, I think. And that must have been Papana making a mistake. I think he got away with it, though.
Yeah, so, Christ, yeah, Gaz just getting out just in 4 attempts in front of Jam. Jam will be gutted, but his inconsistency is what's cost him. He was doing 27s, really low 27s, probably even fastest lap of the race. But unfortunately, it's backfired slightly. Ethan hasn't given up, 27.7 in the last lap, and he's only 1.5 now behind Archil, but really it's kind of academic if Archil doesn't make a mistake, and with Ethan's penalty, it's kind of all over. But a fantastic drive by Archil, fantastic drive by Ethan. He's got nothing to be ashamed about.
Bad line from the Porsche, from the Mercedes there. That allowed the Porsche to have a massive run then. Down towards Melbourne hairpin. Can't do all about it like again. Rosberg trying to get under the Mercedes' skin ahead of him there. The old team that you won the championship last year, but last season I must say, in GT3, dominable by Schmidt and Infect. And in that exact livery, I must say, the old ESR livery, but nothing can Rosberg do on the last lap then. So, right flag and the checkered flag will be released then at the end of this one. Through the old hairpin they come then. Here's Archil doing what he needs to do then. He disconnected last time out, now he's leading this time out, and well, he could have won 2 on the trot, hasn't done it as he come through McLean then. For the last time, Ethan trying his best. The penalty cost him what could have been a victory. And who knows what could have happened otherwise if he didn't make those small mistakes. Archil through again then. Small tricks on the rear end as he comes down towards the Fogarty chicane. And he's doing all what he needs to do. An incredible drive, incredible pace. Now, he does need to stop it then for the left and then the right. And then, of course, you've got one more right to go. And he's crossing the line. He's slowing. And there a little bit. So he's made a small mistake there. I think he's teasing Ethan there a little bit. As he comes through that, Ethan there, trying to make a manoeuvre there. He made a mistake actually on the brake then, so through he comes then. Meanwhile, Gaza and Rosberg still close together, but here comes Archil then. Through to the line. He is going to be the winner here. He did win last time out with a disconnection on the formation lap, but he wins here in Donington Park. Ethan in P2 then with that almost a 3-second time penalty there. Here comes Gaza and he's going to finish on the podium. They're just about from Rosberg then in P4, so Rosberg couldn't get the podium when he needed it most. Wolf, meanwhile, battling away with Camo down towards the last corner. I think Camo's going to dive up the inside if he's close enough. No, he's not going to do it then, so Wolf just about going to get it then. Through the last corner, they're almost no touching each other. They do touch then to the line as Camo fastest light. Wolf finishes in P5, Camo in P6. Papano P7, and it's going to be a Ferrari P7 and 8 then, so unless Big Key Daddy's got him, I think he has actually got him then, so never mind then. So, I think Cole's made a mistake then right at the end, and he has made a mistake. He's battling away with a lap car across the line. Cole is going to cross the line, battling along the side of one of the solo cars. Clark's going to finish in P10 there. Behind them is going to be the Bentley. There's been a horrible accident down there. Here is the Bentley then, so 11th position then ahead of Skuld. The last car on the track not to be lapped. Here comes then that giant Bentley to the line. 11th position, decent job for him, but it is Archil who wins here in Donington Park.
Fantastic drive by Archil, did everything right, just followed Ethan, knew that Ethan had the penalties and they were mounting up, and Ethan second can't feel ashamed of that. It was a really good drive, and as it all worked out, he would have been second anyway. So, yeah, fantastic battle.
They did an incredible battle throughout this race. But it's Archil who crucially run for me from the P2. Gaza in P3. So that is your top 3 on the podium. Rosberg ahead of Wolf in P5. Camo ahead of Apano. Big Kid Daddy ahead of Cool Vip. Clark and then a Squaltz then in P11. Scold in P12. Vectro P13. Romnoxus P14. And Prehen in P15. And Gonna Gamble, the only retirement from this race, in P16.
Yeah, so an incredible race. Like I say, it was all on the edge. Gaza not quite having the pace of the front two, but just coming out in front of Rosberg, winning that personal battle. Rosberg would be pleased with that, I'm pretty sure of it, because his car was nowhere the other day. Wolf, a good recovery from a terrible grid position. Camo will be fairly pleased with that as well, and a good debut for Sean.
Indeed, well, let's get a word with some of our... Get some of them in our commentary box then, and let's unmute the drivers and speak to all of them then. And well, who do we start with? Well, we have to start with the man who finished in P2 then. Ethan had a great race there, great battle in the end, almost there in terms of pacing the gap. How did he find it out there? As I don't think Ethan can hear me for the time being, but
I'm here. I muted my mic.
Has he unused his mic?
I don't know really. A bit of mixed feelings about how difficult it was out there. It was certainly not easy, but it was easy to a point where you could push the car for nearly every lap, which I was doing, and it did nearly give me some very brown alert moments, shall I say. I've nearly been in it a couple of times, but yeah, I enjoyed every single lap of that race. Donington seems to be a bit of a favourite for me. I always seem to do well here, so I can't really complain about that race. It was a much needed podium after no podiums last season, so yeah, I can be more than happy with this.
Meanwhile, your teammate Wolf had a great battle at the end of that race, by the way. Take us through that one, because you got very close with Cameron throughout that race, and it was just in the end you pipping him. And P5, the result you wanted, I suppose?
Well, yeah, P5's good. It was a bit bizarre, because Camo managed to jump in the pit lane, even though none of us have done any services in the pits, so that was really weird. So already I knew I was going to have to chase him down, and chasing him down was probably the most fun part about that battle. Getting past him was good. Trying to defend from him was horrible, but actually chasing him down was a really big challenge, because our pace is similar, and it was really enjoyable. I hope it was enjoyable for everyone else as well.
Indeed. Well, from there we moved down to the, I must say, the almost surprise of the race of just how it didn't go their way, and it is the two Honda drivers of Scald and Vectro to the pair of you. How was it out there? The car just seemed to struggle today.
Let's start with me then, I think.
Yeah, that is a question for either one of you.
Well, yeah, what I have to say is, well, I think there's nothing to say. P13 not happy, but at least fun. I got robbed at the end, but for the rest it was horrible driving.
Indeed, Scott, how did you find it out there?
The same.
The same. Well, I suppose short words for two very surprised drivers, and back to you, Ethan. Like, this season, it's definitely going to be a fight, but I think between you and Archil, if without those small mistakes that occasionally happen. But how do you find battling a BMW where at the beginning of the season I was all ready to write that BMW off, and well, it could have won last time without disconnecting it. It won today.
I don't know. It's we got a lot of races yet to come. But no, it's honestly going into. I mean, after season 12, which was an absolute shambles for me, I went away and like trained physically and mentally for this, and it's paying off. I'm reformed and I'm ready, and I'm taking this more serious than ever. And to be battling it out with someone who is, I would consider, you know, higher than me. You know, this is what sim racing about. It's about racing cleanly and racing close and competitively, and I think Archer is the best person to do that with. In terms of the championship, I don't know yet, we'll just wait and see, but I'm certainly not going to give Archer any easy times in any of these races. I'm going to be either in front of him or just sniffing around his rear ends, because I'm certainly not going to let him get out of my grasp.
Indeed, fighting words from a fighting definitely a fighting driver, a potential champion. But until next week, from us in the commentary box, Milderman, do you have any final words, I must say, or any questions, actually?
No, I just want to congratulate everyone for a fantastic race, actually, and that was a credit to the league. Really good drive by Ethan, putting the pressure on Archil, but in the end, Archil just about had the slightly better car there, I feel, with the way it was handling, but the lap times, there was nothing in it.
Indeed. Well, until next week, then, in just several days' time, we will see you next time. From all of us in the commentary box here today, thank you for joining us, and goodbye.